All right, shalom everyone. This is Amon Yut, Tayak of Piscataway, Sophia Spiritualite, the American Miriam, and we are here with the CAT report dated November the 10th, 2023, 7:19 p.m. It is November the 12th, 2023 at 11:20 a.m. Again, as I'll probably just mention it, this music that you hear in the background is the Aboriginal music of the Washington, D.C. area, mostly Iroquois Federation Indians. It is called Go-Go, and we play this in every single show so that it can defer and deter all of the negative entities trying to get in here and just like in the picture with the cat, figure out our military strategy. This defers them. So Sophia, wisdom. Know her. Know thyself. The once hidden in history, the being of Sophia has been resurrected for all to experience her love and wisdom. The Gospel of Sophia trilogy. Highly recommend reading that. It's very good. Like I keep saying, cats, the enemy knows who we are, but he doesn't know who we are. Our primary strategy in this information war was to get years ahead of the lies of propaganda by literally researching truth history ourselves. We have been consistently 2 to 3 years ahead of their lame narrative so that we could burst their lies swiftly before too many people were fooled. This is Cats for Christ. We are stealthy cats, Christians addicted to truth, that hide in the grasses, ready to pounce when needed. We created a global network of cats that can scale intel across the globe, lickety split, deafening the lies of our enemy and always aiming for truth. The enemies are freaking out right now because they are seeing the results of some unknown force that is awakening people, and despite billions of dollars spent on their propaganda, huge groups, even bigger than Trump crowds, are protesting professional victims unit genocide, demanding an end to socialism, calling for money changers to meet their end. The media reports pro-Palestine protests as citizens siding with Hamas, but how could that be when the media has pushed a different narrative? Israel good, Hamas bad. I could say that. How did the people figure out that Hamas via Israel is an operation of the British Pilgrim Society? So we have a story here. Spanish Patriots in Barcelona tonight. Spain is Christian, not Muslim. It's going down in Madrid tonight as police take on nationalist protests. Fed up of the country's descent into socialism, people across the U.S. join pro-Palestinian protests. Here's my tinfoil hat analysis. They send out their three-letter agency girl, Sarah, to try and find out who this entity is that is leading the people all around the world. Is it an alien, some ancient cult, another dimension of consciousness? In her interview below, listen as she speaks. She asks Paul Willis, whoever he is, she is probing for clues for her befuddled three-letter agency, Five Eyes handlers, who have absolutely no idea who is out here on the internet world leading the resistance. Meow. And so this is the Queen of Heaven scrubbed from the Bible. The Old Testament story tells of alien human origins with Paul Willis. Listen, I'm not so many more important things. After listening to CIA Sarah, you see that geospatial location of the enemy in the information war. They do not have the consciousness to perceive cats. Sarah says as much when she insinuates a difference in timelines. See this video for timeline theory. Time wave spirals, the coming separation of the time wave spiral, 10 place in 2023. So again, I mentioned this in the last video and I'll mention this here. I also have a video about timelines. Maybe I'll try to link it here. I'll link it in my last video too. You know, what they're trying to do again. And I also put my video about the doom loop on there. What they're trying to do is project this this Aquarius timeline back onto us, because on the Aquarius timeline they get all the money that's inside the spiral, and then on the outside of the spiral they use the sun and the moon to control us. And we're not in that timeline. We're in the age of strength, and so they cannot use those things to control us in the age of strength. We have the strength coming from inside of us, of course with our lion there. So they're just trying to project that onto us. So it's not even, I don't necessarily believe that it's the timelines have split. It's that their projection of the Aquarius timeline is failing. Point blank period. So we have a special language here in the category, so it's difficult finding us using search words that they don't even know exist. Like who at the three-letter agency would have the awareness of searching for Babylonian Radanites or Pilgrim Society and think what would happen if they search for our elusive network by using the word cats or cats in the internet, because plus they keep blowing up our sites, requiring us to move quickly from platform to platform, so our trail would be hard to follow. This is the Hall of Shame. Over 500 MPs back the Professional Victims Unit bombing of Gaza. And of course, I say the Professional Victims Unit, and so they really can't figure out what's going on. Right? All right. Irish people identify with planet science called, says Satiris Tag Hickey. And so this is from a British person. By the way, Mike updated this for you. Babylonian eagle, horse, lion, worshipped by the Radhanite fake Jew-ish pagan usury and debt slavery merchant banker pilgrims ca 1000 BE circa 1000 BC. British Radnites founded the city of London and hereditary male peerage 1067 AD. British Pilgrim Society founded in 1902. This is crazy. Let me tell you something. I saw a person yesterday use the term, well, the derogatory N-word term, right? But they spelled it Kniggers. And I was like, wait, like knights? Oh man, that's us. We were knights, right? So you have again these rad knights. What is rad? Hold on. Let's just do a little bit of research right now. Well, we have time. Rad. What does rad mean? Suffix? I'm sorry. I got to. Okay. Okay. So wow, y'all are gonna be, this is amazing. So literally that suffix in Old Irish, and this is on WordSense. I'll put the link in the bio to this too. Forms collective nouns from nouns or adjectives, or wait. Red is R-A, Manx is R-E-Y, Scottish Gaelic is R-A-D-H. So they use the example here. If this was not a good definition, but if Mark means horse, then Mark Crad means cavalry. If glass means green, then glass red means greenery. Oh, but this is at the end, not at the beginning. Hold on. All right. I'm sorry. Not that one. Let's see if I can find another one where it's at the beginning. Okay, we got etymology online. Okay.
Trash.
Okay, put it in the trash, please. Okay, thank you. So they have it here. X-ray dose unit, a shortened form of radiation. Let me see. Act or process of emitting light, a shining radiation. So to beam, shine, gleam, make beaming. Let me see. Part of root word, primitive verbal element serving as a root word from radical, and it's extremist. So here we go. So that root word rad, R-A-D or R-A-D-H, is extremist. They're extreme knights. So you have the quote unquote Aboriginal black quote unquote African Americans are the knights, and they're the extreme knights. And what do you think that means? What does that mean? Why would they be extreme? Why would they be radical? The radical knights. This is crazy. person who holds radical principles, one who pursues a theory to its furthest limit. And in political use was in 1802 and chemical sense by 1819. But they've been using it. It's literally, they're the ones they're the light knights. Well, light as in light, like or light as in light in color. Anyway, you can come to your own conclusions. It's just funny that that term rad also mentions the animals and all of that. And of course, these colors are the colors of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Also, I'll refer you to looking at the crop circles, because a lot of the crop circles from last season were on near the White Horse Hills and the White Horses of Britain. And so anyway, it's a lot going on with that. And of course, look, he's riding a white horse. Okay, he's riding a white horse. He's subdued the Lion of Judah, which would be the so-called African American blacks, and he's got the eagle out there as his arm. Is this not exactly what's going on here? This is the exact picture of what's happening. So I just throw that out to y'all. Happy birthday, U.S. Marine Corps Semper Fi. 248 years. Lots of numerology on that. So far, all I see are mamby-pamby soy boy Marines, so I haven't removed domestic enemies and traitors in Congress and handcuffs at popcorn point. The Marines are constitutionally allowed to take out domestic enemies, yet they have done nothing to remove traitors in our country. Instead, they ignore their oath of office to protect the Constitution and watch their country fall into a heap of ashes. And some words I won't say. Douglas McGregor says, apparently Antony, and I don't know why he spells his name Anthony, it's Antony, Antony. So weird. Antony Blinken is now a sitting member of the Israeli Cabinet and National Defense Council. This is unusual, to say the least. A lot of people are saying we're in charge of everything that is happening with the professional victims unit in that country over there. The truth of the matter is, I'm wondering whether or not the professional victims unit leadership is in charge of everything we bring into the arena. Of course they are. All right, remember what you're fighting for, boys. You know, a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to say, but you get the idea. Have you noticed there aren't other truther groups in the internet that use the cat theme? Well, the internet vibrates at the level of reptiles. Some even say they appear as reptiles and lizard people. The last species on Earth that reptile people would want to deal with is cats. And of course, the queen lizard herself, who we actually took out with our fast last year. Literally the last day of our fast, her untimely removal had been announced. So wait until we roll out more mischief to the cattery. Sarah and her CIA Five Eyes friends will never be able to find our private spaces in the internet. We got Kitty's Undercover coming, okay? Zionist support of Hamas. This is a video here from the Reese Report. Sometimes when I hear Marsha Blackburn speak, I'm reminded of another Southern fireball who is near and dear to my heart, Tyler, of course. Not a Doc writes below. Let's get this all teed up. There is much wisdom and information concerning the human body that has been gradually hidden for probably well over 150 years. Medical treatment of the human was captured by the Rockefeller and Carnegie Institutes in 1910 after they sponsored the Flexner Report. Abraham Flexner visited every 155 medical schools in the United States to evaluate them and establish a basic curriculum based on the scientific method. In 1913, Congress, using the Flexner Report, decided to only give funds to schools that met the criteria. Only 31 medical schools survived. They outright labeled as quackery homeopathy, herbal treatment, electrical treatment, and chiropractic, even though the osteopath schools taught structural manipulation. They accepted the foundational pharmaceutical treatments of the Flexner Report and survived. Rockefeller followed up by giving million-dollar grants to surviving medical schools with the stipulation they allow him to designate people of his choice to sit on the school boards. Their golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. I have a comment on this at the end. The AMA, excuse me. Sorry. we have children in this house. The AMA and the government would come down hard on anyone who practiced medicine who didn't adhere to allopathic or Western medicine pharmaceutical treatments. The common arrogance is that frequently demonstrated by a modern physician is actually nurtured and reproduced by the teaching system, which is another long story. They are trained and kept ignorant of any alternative methods, including some that worked well, very well or better in the past allopathic system, but were not as profitable. In reality, as time went by, more and more of the medical treatment moved further away from true science. The system built theory on top of theory, and research was supported only to those who maintained the system. From my perspective, the insurance companies started dictating available treatments around the 1990s, and in the early 2000s, the electronic medical records captured and controlled medical providers. Note, in reality, fear of being sued was minimal because in most cases, doctors would cover for each other. In the 2000s, lawyers and insurance companies could easily find a doctor who would make any desirable claim for the right amount of cash. But also around this time, it came out that iatrogenic or physician-caused death was number 3 most common cause of death. Note that was only reported causes. A couple years later, it appeared to move number 2, but then suddenly disappeared and has remained number 3 ever since. But there are still some honest people in the industry, and many of them recognize the problems and or were frustrated because of the traditional treatments do not work. And they started looking and finding other viable treatments. This has greatly accelerated, especially over the last few years. The old system needs to be totally destroyed, keeping the few successful treatments. We are just beginning to discover new truths about anatomy and physiology that have been intentionally hidden from clinical providers and population. The few doctors that or providers that survive will have to learn a whole new paradigm for the care of human beings. At the same time, we need a complete overhaul of our food production. There is hope for those who survive. I have 2 comments. The first comment is people don't understand how the trust system works. If you are a medical provider who wants to provide medical care without a license, this can be done through a trust. And the trust system, you would have to do an irrevocable, of course, trust. And there's lots of information available on that. We are in the process of developing, trust, and over, anyway, we're in the process of navigating the trust system now. But I am telling you, if you are a medical professional and you wish to practice medicine and you don't want to have to deal with that, if you are inside of a trust, you actually practice this inside of a trust, you can do so without a license, period. There's nothing they can do to take that information away from me, and no one can actually get inside of the trust as long as you have your trust structured properly. That is the problem. We are working on that, but some of you all may already be familiar with trust, and so I'll put that out there to you. Second of all, this did not start in 1910 with that. This started with the Salem witch trials, because there's a article I read that's about 20 pages. It talks about how the Salem witch trials were not about people practicing sorcery. They were about naturopathic healers. And they went around and gathered all the successful healers, called them witches, and threw them in the fire. So if you guys think that, I think it's important to note that, because a lot of those naturopathic things are still available. It's just not in places you would expect to find it. You will have to deal with some very unusual people, and you have people like me and our people who have the capability of just laying hands, speaking in tongues, doing those kind of things. Have the angels actually do the actual medicine work, just like Saint Cosmas and Saint Damien, the Silverless. And so, and a lot of the stuff that's going on physically needs to be treated spiritually anyway, but that's a whole nother thing. There's the spiritual part will tell you how to specifically deal with the physical part. And the more knowledge you have as you delve into the spiritual part, especially the saints, specifically the saints, then they will tell you how to deal with different things. This has been my experience. All right. So those 2 things are important. Shortest serving FDA director in history, 16 months. The most stunning medical quote ever made by a Harvard professor. The FDA protects the big drug companies and is subsequently rewarded, and using the government's police powers, they attack those who threaten the big drug companies. People think that the FDA is protecting them. It isn't. What the FDA is doing and what the public thinks it's doing are as different as night and day. And this is a great meme. Of course, hopefully you have enjoyed today's cat report, and we are all caught up with the information available as of Sunday, so November the 12th. So, of course, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom and peace to each one of you all.